Hello and welcome to Pride of South London Fan TV. Ali here bringing you my match review of the game between Palace and Spurs, which of course finished 4-0 to Spurs. To reel out an old cliche, it really was a game of two halves, very promising in the first half. Zaha, Eze and Lise really started to find their feet in the game, and the combinations between the three of them were some of the best that I'd seen when they all three were on the pitch. And then in the second half, it really was as grim as a phone call might be right now between Prince Harry and Prince William. Let's get into it through all the usual features. Vieira's rating and man of the match, and let's start with Vieira's rating. Listen, I'm not going to go too harsh on Vieira tonight. I'll give him a 6. I think that most of us would have gone with the same team that he selected. Most of us would have kept the same team that won at Bournemouth. The word momentum was being used a lot by fans on social media, and I agree with that. I can't be too critical of him. I said to stick with the same team that played at Bournemouth. And in the first half, it seemed to be vindicated. I thought we were playing well, particularly in the last 20 minutes. Zaha, Eze and Elise, as I alluded to, were really starting to find their feet, but we just couldn't find that goal. And as Vieira said in his own post-match interview, we weren't ruthless enough in front of goal. And come out second half, and I said it on my social medias, you're just waiting for the sucker punch. I support Crystal Palace far too long. And sure enough, Harry Kane found it within a few minutes. And really, to be honest with you, sometimes, as I've said on my social medias as well, is football can be quite simple sometimes. We can overcomplicate it. And quite simply tonight, the difference between the two teams was we have Jordan Ayew up front and they have Harry Kane. And therein lies the difference. And I don't want to be too harsh on Jordan Ayew. I didn't think he was too bad tonight. Made quite a good chance for himself in the first half. Yes, there was that situation where he should have released the ball, but that's Jordan Ayew. He runs down cul-de-sacs. But I think there was a few years ago where through the middle he scored a few goals for Palace. And I think we need to give him a couple more games in this role, to be fair to him, to bed in back through the middle. And I thought there was some positives from his performance tonight. I don't think that he was to blame for the defeat. But then you've got someone like Harry Kane, who is levels and levels above, who just takes that chance and it's game over. The other clear thing that comes out tonight, that's abundantly clear, that we've known since the summer, is that we are right back short, a cover left back for Mitchell short. We are most definitely 2 or 3 central midfielders short, and that was shown and exposed tonight, particularly in the fullbacks. I think, listen, Ward and Klein, stalwarts of this football club, and can really do a job against the likes of Bournemouth, but that going up that level tonight against Spurs, I think both were quite exposed in the second half. And it was interesting. I'm pretty sure one of the things that Conte said at half time, and it was a poor Spurs performance in the first half, I'm sure he said quite a bit to them. But one of the things I noticed was that the wing backs had got really, really wide at the beginning of the second half. And that work paid off for them, because in the second half, straight away, couple of great balls from their wing backs, and there was a lot of space for the wing backs. We gave the wing backs a lot of space within those first 5 minutes, and they exploited it. And the first goal was terrible defending all round. Harry Kane was allowed to go through our penalty area, and it was poor. Jeffrey Schlupp was ball watching. Jeffrey Schlupp wasn't too bad in the first half, I thought, but he was woeful in the second half. And we know, coming back to what we need 2 or 3 central midfielders. We do have Wilf Hughes, but again, he gets ignored, brought on that 3-0 down. I don't know what the point is in that. And I think, to be fair to Vieira, he is at the moment managing with one arm behind his back, because he is short of 3 or 4 players. I do think that he could utilise Wilf Hughes more. I think, listen, Schlupp again, just so wasteful with the ball. And you've got someone like Hughes who could sit deep, and I think could complement Decore really, really well, and sitting deep alongside him, allowing Decore to go forward, because Decore is very good at going forward and on the ball. I have no idea how we got Decore, by the way. He has been absolutely superb. My only real criticism of Vieira really was the substitution, where I'm not complaining that he took Schlupp off, but the substitution where he took Schlupp off for Mateta, and then just leaves Decore holding Eze, Ayew, Elise, Zaha, Mateta, where Decore's already got too much to do. We're 2-0 down, okay, but I felt like we were starting to find our feet and rhythm back in the game, and it's just like, well, it's literally like Vieira presses the overload button on Football Manager, and it's like, well, it really is now either going to be, we're going to score and it's going to pay off and he's going to be a genius, or they're going to, inevitably what happened was they found gaps, even more gaps in our defensive midfield, and they added to the scoreline and made it 4-0. And it reminded me a bit of the semi-final in the FA Cup, which is a long time ago, I know, but he kind of went too soon then. He threw too many attackers on too soon, and he just lost the structure of the team. Not that there is much structure in our team right now, and there's no control at the moment in that central midfield area. It's literally Decore manning about 5 or 6 forwards. Listen, it's going to be an interesting month. Steve Parish has come out and said, if anything, it's going to be a couple of loans. They will do some things in the transfer market where they can, but it's a difficult window. And I agree with him. It's a difficult window, as he said, inflated by the unprecedented World Cup. There's a reason why in January the teams that do business are teams either with a lot of money like Newcastle or teams desperate to avoid relegation, which isn't us. We're fine. The frustrating thing is, like many, I felt like we could have kicked on this season. I felt like we could have kicked on to the top 10, but it seems like we're heading for another season between 11th to 15th, because if you don't invest in the areas that need investing, you won't progress in this Premier League. And let's see, let's hope that they can do one or two things. But I think I've said all along that I think it'll be difficult in that January window. No one's going to come up with a magic wand, I think, and suddenly find us the perfect central midfielder to fit into this team. Is there a loan out there for us? If it's not in the Premier League, we should be looking in La Liga, the French League, Bundesliga. Is there something out there that can help us? Because right now, I'd take anything in that central midfield other than Schlupp. You know, and I don't understand why he's not using Will Hughes. For me, he's a player who could, as I said, at least go in there and sit alongside Decore. But then Vieira clearly doesn't. It's something that Vieira doesn't see in Will Hughes, and Vieira needs to be back, as I said, to find that central midfielder that he wants. Don't think he'll find the permanent one in January, but is there a loan out there? Let's hope that Parish and Dougie can find one, because we need it. Anyway, going on, man of the match for me. I'm going to go for Mateta's new haircut. I thought it was great. I thought Mateta was awful, but I thought his haircut was outstanding. Just adds to the character of Mateta, doesn't it? With the shiny head now. So my man of the match is Mateta's haircut. Also, you know what? I'm going to be graceful and give credit to Harry Kane after what happened in the World Cup. He showed great character to bounce back tonight. 2 goals for his team, and he really stepped up for his club when they needed it, because Spurs were poor in that first half off the back of a poor performance a few days ago. And that's what we need now against Southampton in the FA Cup, is some players to step up when the club needs it, to give us that boost that we need to find our way out of this form. And there's no better way for us to find some momentum in this season than to rediscover those vibes from the FA Cup last season. We're playing a team, Southampton, on Saturday, who are fighting relegation. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Will they rest some players because they know they're in a relegation scrap, or will they use the game to try and find some form? Either way, that's a game at home we should be looking to win and get in that 4th round hat. I still think this team, on their day, are capable of going on a cup run and taking anyone on. But it does feel a bit different to this time last season when we started that cup run. There was a buzz about us. We were much more confident than we look today. But I do think today, I will finish today on the caveat that I felt the first half performance we were good, and that there were promising signs. It just, second half, it exposed some gaping holes that within this squad currently. And they need to hopefully, can there be at least some short-term fixes found through loans to give us a chance in the second half of the season, because we could still, I still think 10th's an option. I think Brentford could have a potential fall if Ivan Toney is suspended through all this betting stuff. And I still think we're capable of that cup run. So let's hope. Let me know what you would do in the comments below with regards to transfers. What positions do you think we need to address? As always, let me know your thoughts on the game. And as always, if you've liked this video, please press the subscribe button. I'll be back on Saturday when hopefully we will be feeling better and we'll be on our way to Wembley. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, press that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video.